Mongoose Jake here with a video on the Nerf Strongarm. I'm going to be using the new clear version that was available exclusively on Amazon. And what I'm going to do is I want to take a look at this well-liked pistol and see what we can do to improve it using Mod Works' latest kit for both the Strongarm and or Disruptor. Now the Strongarm's been around now quite a while. When it was introduced, it was sort of like the pinnacle of pistols, providing far superior power to its predecessor, the Maverick, and still retaining that neat pop-out cylinder. And it is comfy, it is easy to use, it features slam fire, and it has elite performance. And now with this new clear shell with the white and black accents, I actually find this thing to be very attractive looking as well. The thing is that now, the Strongarm's been out for years. It's been surpassed by all of its competitors in power. And hopefully this kit from Mod Works will provide drop-in performance boosts. Now, of course, the Mod Works kits come in a variety of types for popular Nerf blasters. This one specifically, which I actually quite like Mod Works' professionalism on their packaging. It shows that it comes with the triggers for both the Disruptor and the Strongarm, as well as a T-pull handle for the Disruptor specifically. All of their parts are interchangeable back and forth between both blasters. And they include this little tray to where you can open up your kit and dump out your parts in there. So, there we go. Of course, I have multiple Strongarms and even Disruptors, and I will take a look and see what I can do. Probably order a Disruptor and Strongarm spring to upgrade one of my Disruptors. But that is the Disruptor trigger, which I will set aside, as well as the T-pull. I will put it aside. So all I need is this right here for the metal trigger for the Strongarm. Now this kit retails for a price of $30 currently. It has a suggested retail of $45, but they have it on sale. And yes, I do the little quotations because it has been on sale for quite a while. I actually purchased this with the help of my patrons. Well, I should say Patreon, because I bought this back before I even got hurt, and Homely665 was at the time my only patron. Now, I also have David has joined on, and they are both my patrons, and thank you to you guys. I already have some more brass on order, so if you'd like to join in and help out the channel, just like Patrick and David are, that's Homely665 and David Bullock, they both are patrons, and this was funded in part by Homely, and my next order of brass was fully funded by Homely and David. So those two guys, thank you very much. You are actually helping the channel, because this was paid, about 2/3 of it came from Patreon. I kicked in the rest, and my next order of brass was 100% funded by the patrons. I do use those funds to put back into the channel. I do not use them for personal use. But, well, I guess I do, because I get to use this thing. So thank you. But that link will be in the description below if you want to become a patron and help out as well. But moving on, sales pitch over. I will pull this apart, and you guys will join me after I get it open. Actually, before opening it, we are going to get a benchmark, so to speak. Load up 6 darts, and I will keep these 6 Nerf Elites. Yeah, no, Nerf Elites, yuck. But I will keep these 6 separated, and we will use those exact same 6 darts to test the performance of the kit once I have it fully installed. 68.2, 64.5, 67.6, 82.4, random one, 63.3, and 69.4. So we're going to say high 60s is the average. We'll come back to this later once the kit's installed. Okay, coming back now after I have it open. In total, you have 3 screws on the slide you have to loosen up, and 9 in the shell for a dozen in total. Now, as soon as I took this apart, I already noticed that the stock catch spring has detached itself from the trigger catch. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out, set it aside. You have a screw to remove. If you've never opened up a strong arm before, don't worry about it. It's easy. It's one of the better designs that Nerf had done back in the day. Take off your trigger catch and your trigger. Set them aside. You will not need them again. Now, there's a few things you can do to the strong arm. You can actually make it so the cylinder pops out more. It pops out enough for me already. I don't have to worry about it personally, but you can trim it a little bit to get it to actually release out further. And you can also do the drop cylinder mod. Search it up on YouTube if you have a desire for that. I don't personally, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now, as far as this whole assembly comes out, and Orange Mod Works includes a replacement seal that is a bit thicker and supposed to be of a little bit higher quality. I will look at this and see that seal actually looks like it's set right, because sometimes Nerf will slap them on there kind of clockwise or counterclockwise one way or the other compared to where it's supposed to be, and this one actually looks really good. I might not remove it. It's in there nicely. I will save this as a spare. But now what I do need to do is to pull out the stock plunger and set it aside. The Orange Mod Works version is already pre-assembled. The only thing you have to do is to actually install the O-ring and take some of the Orange Mod Works grease. Yeah, there we go. I already have one opened. I'm not going to open that. I will actually take that, toss it in my toolbox for future. And I'm going to put on a little bit of lubricant. There we go. And put on some here. Take your finger, go all the way around. And that is that. Don't want to go too crazy with it. So there we are. I am actually not going to remove the air restrictor this time. I am going to see about what performance gains you get with this kit with 0 custom modifications. For this video, I'm not going to make any custom modifications. This is literally just an installation of the kit and see what performance gains we have from that stock mid-60s performance. Ooh, that's got a nice seal. Okay, I'm going to install that. Now this is going to be harder to see, but you can, oh, there we go. You can see the little orange. Orange goes up. Just remember that. Orange is up. You can reinstall this by placing that orange up and the hook down. And when you're looking at your shell over here, there are 2 spots here that correspond to posts on the side here and here. When you place this down in, you are looking for these 2 spots on the shell. This will lock in and you'll actually feel it get secure. So, and also note that you need to make sure that your slide return spring is on this little post here. I'm going to bring this up. That is one thing that will happen most of the time that you open a strong arm, if you've moved around at all. This spring needs to go on that post. And there we are. Make sure it stays on there. Place that down on the workbench. And we'll put this back in place and make sure it drops into those spots. There we are. Okay, it's locked in. This assembly won't wiggle. The plunger tube needs to be able to move, but the assembly here, this little band, that should not move. If this does not move and has no play, you've done it right. So we'll set this back down. Everything installed there. We have our trigger here, and you have 2 trigger springs. Of course, you have 2 triggers, so the big shiny one is your trigger spring. The dark black one is the catch spring. So we're going to go ahead, place the trigger in place. Nice metal trigger. That is one of the best upgrades for personal feel that there is, in my personal opinion. I wish that they made them for Busby blasters. If they did, I would be one happy person. And let's watch me fight with a screw here. This screw has a very large flat-topped head to it, so it's kind of hard to grip onto and get right into the post properly. There we go. Toss that in there. Okay. Nice. And here is our trigger catch. Now, for those of you who haven't ever messed with a strong arm, wings go out. Outside of the shell, actually. You can easily move it underneath the trigger. That's not a problem. If you want to make it super, super easy on yourself, put the trigger catch down first. But it's no big deal. You can easily place it underneath here, because all it needs to do is sit underneath the back end of the trigger, and you'll see there's a spot for it to slide on, and you're going to put the trigger catch, or the trigger catch spring, up through that hole. And so we'll take one of the trigger catch springs, we're going to slide it up and in, and then push it down, and it's in. Now all you need to do is start putting back your parts and reassemble the blaster. And I'm not going to make you sit through that, so you're going to come back to me with it all fully put back together. Coming back with it fully installed and ready to go. Now, I am going to note something that has changed since I had talked about the kit. I looked at the stock Nerf seal and thought that it was in pretty good shape, being brand new, less than a couple hundred shots or so, and then sat on a shelf. And it looked like it was oriented nicely, everything looked good. And then I test fired this, and was shocked by how inconsistent it was with the new upgraded kit. Some shots were firing all the way up in the 90s, and some were down into the 50s. Now, I can understand a little bit of inconsistency here and there, because these darts are terrible, even though these are brand new elites. And by the way, one already blew out. This is a brand new dart, and right here, it blew out. So we are not using the exact same 6. There's 5 of the originals and 1 brand new guy. But I went ahead and installed the Orange Mod Works seal for 2 reasons. 1, to give them a fair shot. I want to test this with the full entirety of their kit installed in the blaster. That was me just thinking, hey, I'll have a spare seal. But to be fair to Orange Mod Works, I need to put the entire kit in the blaster. And 2, the stock Nerf seal was trash. That was so pitiful and thin. It's half the thickness of the Orange Mod Works seal. So a nice thing that Orange Mod Works did to include that. And it literally is about half the thickness of foam. And it ripped and tore apart when I removed it. And you can actually, install it right here. I just ripped out the old Nerf one and placed in the Orange Mod Works. And I've been testing it and getting very nice results. I'll call them out as I fire them. That was on the low end, 82.7. We got 85.6. Got an error there. I'll refeed a couple of these. 90.1, 90.7, 77.2, 87.3. So now that's pretty consistent. We've gained about 20 feet per second with the installation of this kit, even with the air restrictor still being in place. I haven't sealed up. There is a hole in the plunger tube, as there is a lot with a lot of Nerf blasters. I forget if it's on the top or the bottom of the plunger tube. There's a hole you can put a dab of hot glue in to seal up. Take out the air restrictor if you want to. You can also clip out the dart post. But in testing the Orange Mod Works kit, that is a 20 feet per second or slightly more gain by dropping in the kit. That's if you do nothing else to the blaster. The dart posts are still in place. Air restrictor still in place. I didn't reduce the dead space, which there is a decent amount in the strong arm. Like that whole front portion right there of the plunger tube is dead space. But just for those of you who want to buy a blaster, buy a kit, put the two together, and go out and have fun. Now you're at 90 feet per second roundabout, coming up from the high 60s. Because we were averaging about 67 to 68, and now we're right at 87, 88 to 90. So over a 20 foot per second gain. And now all of a sudden that's good enough. 90 feet per second is usable. You know, you're going to have to play run and gun style to make work of that, but you could make it work. And that metal trigger is pretty sharp in that, and it feels crisp. That is one thing that cannot be conveyed in a video. That metal trigger, man, that feels nice. And you won't feel it until you have held one in your hands and done that. So can I recommend it? Well, I have good experience with Orange Mod Works parts, so I am going to recommend it. It's enough of a game to make it worth buying. And it's for either blaster, the Strongarm or the Disruptor. And with this clear Strongarm out, of course I was going to throw it in this one. But, I mean, you got a $15 blaster, $30 kit. Yeah, it's twice the price of the blaster, but Orange Mod Works makes pretty reliable parts that are drop-in fit. You don't have to do anything to them. So if you don't want to, that's a good way to go. This is Mod Jake with my installation and review of the Orange Mod Works Strongarm Disruptor Kit into the Nerf Strongarm. You're going to see a gain from about 67 foot per second stock average velocity all the way up to about 90 with no custom work required. And not only that, but it takes a nice looking blaster and adds a little bit of shininess to it. This is Mod Jake. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.